In this video, I want to show you how to make a universal draft for creating a circle or flared skirt in the Valentina pattern making software. The same draft can also be used for any other circular elements like sleeves or capes. To find the radius of the inner circle, you need to divide the waist circumference by 2 and the value of pi number. I start by creating a new pattern in Valentina and naming my pattern piece. The only body measurement I add to the measurements table is the waist circumference. Though I use centimeters, you can easily convert them to inches within tape. All other measurements, such as skirt length, angle of 360 degrees, and a skirt angle, are added to the variables table as increments. Instead of angles, I could use fractions, but I find it easier to visualize. I load the measurement file and draw a line representing the skirt's inner circle radius. I divide this measurement by 2 and the value of the pi number, using brackets for better visibility. I then multiply the result by the fraction of the circle I'm using. For a full circle, it's a value of 1 or 360 degrees. As I said, I could use a fraction value instead of angles. In the first example, I use 90 degrees or 1/4 of the circle. I also added an ease of 2 centimeters to the waist circumference. Next, I draw an arc with the calculated inner circle radius starting from point A. The line AA2 has the same length as line AA1, and the angle of my choice is taken from the increments. The inner arc has the length of waist circumference. My next point is the length of the skirt. I connect new points with a line. It has the same angle as line AA1. I draw the outer circle arc. It has a radius of the inner circle radius plus the skirt length. Line A2-A4 has the same length as A1-A2. Its angle is the same as the one of line AA2. I will now demonstrate this with different examples. In the increments, I changed the skirt angle and my pattern got automatically adjusted. As you see, the inner arc has the same length as before. That's how it looks with an angle of 270 degrees, for a 3/4 circle skirt. And here I am using a much smaller fraction of a circle. The inner circle radius is longer, but the inner arc has still the same length. All the previously shown drafts are for a skirt with only one seam and for an angle of maximum 360 degrees. I will now show you how to make adjustments for skirts with two side seams or double or triple circles. In this example, I make a skirt of 540 degrees. I need to cut out two pieces of 270 degrees each and divide the inner radius formula by 2. The inner arc length is now half of the waist measurement value. Now I transfer my draft to details mode. When selecting objects, I go in a clockwise direction and use the Shift key if I need to reverse the direction of a curve. In Details mode, I add seam allowances. This is also a way to check if all the points have been added in the right direction. I want to show you an error that can appear if the objects have not been added accordingly. This error may also appear if the angle of the arc is too big in relation to the added seam allowance. In the case of a full circle skirt of 360 degrees, there is simply no space for a seam allowance. You can see this error also in the Workpiece tool. The OK button is inactive. To fix this issue, I need to reduce the value of skirt angle. I can also reduce the value of seam allowance used. You can see that this space is too narrow to accommodate a seam allowance. Alternatively, I can add the seam allowance value directly to the pattern, then I won't need to add it separately. I am adding different seam allowances to different parts of the pattern, for example to the hem. Finally, I can add a waistband to my skirt. I open a new pattern piece. The waistband's length is the waist circumference I used for the skirt. The width is 4 centimeters. I make it double for the fold. I connect all the points with lines and mark folding points. I transfer my pattern piece to details. Back in the draft mode, I add a dotted line in the center. I add seam allowances and notches. Back in the draft mode, I add the point for center front and grain line. Thank you for following along.